is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I am GIF.
And I'm Pete.
Oh my gosh.
I'm back, baby.
We got to throw one of these in here, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Please.
All right.
Please, keep it going. Keep it going. I love it. Keep it going.
No, it's all canned and fake. It's done.
Oh, damn it. What? What?
All right. Pete is back for a special night tonight, so he's still on hiatus.
It is special. It is special.
But because of the topic and because of what we're doing, we asked him if he was available, and he was. So, Pete,
yes, for you guys,
how you been? Yeah. Are you traveling? You're not traveling this week. How's your life?
No, I'm actually on a little bit of a break from traveling right now. So, back home although we are going to be traveling for personal vacation,
of course,
in a couple of days for spring break. But reduction into business travel for the moment, but it is going to pick up again.
All right.
But it's been fun. I enjoy it.
Good. All right. So we're happy to have you back.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Don't forget to open the yearbook.
Oh, look at this guy. He didn't miss a beat.
He knows what's up.
All right. We're opening the yearbook
I got a
tonight,
little prompt.
Yeah.
and we're opening it to 1994. And that's why we asked Pete, because this is a big, big year. This is the year we graduated high school. This is like the year for us. And this is where we started too. So if you go back to the beginning of our show, the very, very beginning of our show, there's one episode of 1982 that was just me and Pete. But then our first full month and the way that we do things was 1994. So we are going back to our roots, and we're bringing back Pete, and we're going to talk, because there's so much to talk about in 94. It's going to be easy. So we got plenty more to go through. We could probably do the whole show for a whole year on 1994, kind of like Def Dave is doing with 1984. That's what we could do. Okay, so, we always start with our memories. And of course, if you go way back, you can hear more details probably back then. Because back then, we did different episodes. And like one of us shared memories at a time. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
So,
We would do one on it was my episode. I did Friends, so then I would say my memories for the year, and
it was all pre-draft before we got our, our format that we know and love.
That's right.
We weren't doing
That's right.
drafts.
So anyway, there's some there, but we're going to re-hit some of that and bring you back to 94 and remember what it was like. So we'll have Pete go first because he's the guest. He's not part of the show right now. He is the guest, so he gets to go first.
He's really driving home that point there, guy.
I think the year 1994 for me could be summed up in the well-known song lyric, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, because it was like it was a weird, exciting, kind of bittersweet year with just everything going on. It's the year everybody goes through it, that year when you graduate from high school, moving from one phase of your life and looking back, and then going to college. So it's two entirely different worlds that you're in during this year, because it's graduation, everything. It's the last of everything. It's the last times that we all, of course, we've gotten together since then, but as classmates, and just the great memories, Brad. I have so many good memories of going up to your place, watching NCAA tournaments, which is coming up, watching football games, and you guys coming to my place, playing poker in our basement and everything. That's really not just 1994, but really all of high school. And then going on to college, and, it was a fun summer, but then going on to college, and it's a whole new life. And I just remember, I went to Mankato, Brad went to Augsburg, Gifford, you went to Morris, if I recall correctly, that year.
Who are you again?
And I'll let you guys speak to that. But me personally, going to Mankato, I was, you're worried about, like, am I going to fit in? Am I going to make friends and everything like that? And what's exciting is how quickly that you make friends being in the dorms. And I want to say, too, that one of the closest college friends that I have two guys, I had a number of really good friends in college, but probably my two best friends, one of my two best friends, especially freshman and sophomore year, is Iranian. And so I just remember having a lot of conversations about him being from Tehran, all that kind of stuff, and I learned so much that year, and it really rings true now because one of the things he said many times, and what I learned is that the people are so much more similar to us as just
Right.
any of us guys, and him especially. I mean, he'd fit right in. And one of the nicest, funniest guys that you could know, and he's one of my closest friends. And I think about him in times like this week or this last few weeks, and I haven't talked to him in 15 or 20 years. So I've kind of lost touch with him, but just hoping that he and his family are okay and everything. And he said too, you don't want like the people are the people. It's pretty relatively normal of a society, but of course, it's the leadership that we could say the same. I wouldn't want people outside our country judging me based on my government right now,
Right.
and that's kind of how they feel. So I just wanted to say
Mhm.
that. So Ali, if you're listening, hope you and your family are safe, and I'm thinking about you. So but just the excitement to that, just being in college, so trying to settle in to the classes and everything, and just the dorms at Mankato really kind of sucked. They weren't that nice, but still, it just added to the camaraderie that you had among the people that were right there with you. So I think it was kind of like a good reset because everybody is now in the same boat. There's not as much like the clicks and whatever, and it's
Mhm.
people don't have judgments about you that they might have landed when you're in third grade, and so it's kind of a reset.
Yep.
So, just a lot of fun. I remember going to a lot of keg parties, WAP parties, and I didn't, because I wasn't that much of a partier, like a drinker in high school, but I definitely was freshman and sophomore year. So I'll say that. Um,
Recreated that part of yourself, huh?
That's right.
Or,
That's right.
or new
So
rebrand. Sweet.
that's exactly right. So,
Pete tries
just
new
a fun
things.
year. I
Mhm.
probably, if I could go back and relive one year, it would be either 94 or 95 for sure. So
Mhm. Awesome.
definitely a top 5 year for sure. Turn that over to Gifford then.
All right, sir. So again, I was in school with these guys to start the year. This would have been, of course, our senior year. So this would have been finishing up the basketball season. So 1994 was the last year that I sat on a bench during a basketball game. And then, of course, we get into this spring, and I wasn't a spring sport guy. I didn't do track or golf. Those were our two options. But I remember leaving school as soon as the bell rang, and I would rush out to the golf course and get out before the golf team so I could get 9 holes in right after school, which was always a great time. Um, Getting into summer, I remember I did not have a job the first day of summer, and I kind of sat around, I think, for 2 days. And my mom said, nobody's going to call you and offer you a job. You need to go out and find a job. And I shit you not, I think it was like 10 minutes later, the phone rang, and my girlfriend's dad said, "Hey, you got anything for the summer? I need a kid to help with masonry work and cement work." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing anything. I can come do that for you." So I hung up the phone, and of course, me being the smartass that I was, went right to mom and said, "Somebody just called and offered me a job for the summer, so I'm set." So that's what I did that summer. A lot of outdoor work. And that was awesome. And then, yeah, I went to Morris, and the University of Minnesota at that time started later than everybody else, it seemed. So you guys left. You know, I remember helping move my girlfriend to college, um, and you guys all went. So I think I had 2 weeks still at
Yeah, I
home.
remember that the U always
Is
started
that
like in the
right?
middle of September
Yep.
back then.
I feel
Yeah.
like that. I feel like I was later than most people too. So maybe you and I were about the same time, but
Well, and we
um,
didn't get out till mid-June, which really sucked. So
yeah.
From
we started late.
college?
Yeah.
What?
Back then. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, well,
College
maybe
is
not.
supposed to be over.
I'm sorry, not mid-June, late May. So
Yeah,
it
okay.
was 2 weeks later, and 2 weeks, in the spring as well.
Yeah.
But so that was kind of tough. I had 2 weeks at home without you guys. But going to Morris, we had a few of us from our graduating class in Morris, and one of which was Mike Erdman. And I remember leaning heavily on him. He's the best. He's the best. Mike and I went to...
Pete, he's the nicest guy, Pete.
He's the nicest guy you've ever... And that's not an exaggeration. Anybody that's ever met him, that's the nicest guy they've ever met.
No, but it's also a joke because we say it every time, and my wife says it too. I thought we were having fun there, but...
But he is true.
Nice. He is. It's based on reality.
It is.
Seems like a nice guy. But Mike and I went to school together, literally from kindergarten through high school. We went to Morris together for 2 years, transferred to the University of Minnesota together because we're both engineering majors.
Oh, he did too?
And you're both engineers. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went to school with Mike forever.
But anyway, you were never as nice as he is.
Well, I'm kind of a prick. He got all the niceness out of Russell. So when we got to Morris, like, as Pete said, living in the dorms is great because you meet so many people. But, like, I wasn't really comfortable quite yet. So, like, I would hang out with my floor and then go over to Mike's dorm and, like, hang out with him. I remember just sitting in his room and, you know, because it was a piece of home at least. You know, I mean, he had a familiar face and just a great guy.
Piece of home.
You know, well, yeah, and we were in basketball and football together and in high school. So, yeah, it was great. And then as I assimilated into good people on my floor and made some really good friends there, and it was awesome. That year was sweet. The one downside, my roommate that I started college with, we didn't have a lot in common, and I remember he had awful foot odor. So about a month into college, he was friends with a guy across the hall. I was friends with that guy's roommate. So we swapped out roommates about a month into college. So that was nice as well, because then that guy was my roommate for the next 2 years in Morris, which was excellent. So like Pete said, huge transformative year. You know, you're moving on from one thing reluctantly and with a lot of great memories into something unknown. But it's one of the best things ever because, like Pete said, you get to reinvent yourself a little bit, maybe accentuate some of the best parts of your personality and let the things that people kind of pigeonhole you into in high school go by the wayside. And it's just awesome. So 94 is definitely awesome. One of my favorite years, like Pete said, definitely a top 5 year. I would completely agree with that. So, Brad, what did you have in 94?
Well, you know, same story. But, you know, the biggest thing is you got this transition and this change. But, like, so Gifford, you went to this small college in a small town. So, like, not too big of a culture difference. Pete went to Mankato, which is a bigger city, but not like a metropolis.
It's a perfect transition. By the way, I was just going to say, Mankato is a perfect transition town if you're moving from small town Tyler to medium-sized Mankato and then up to the cities here in the metro area. So that's what I've always referred to it as.
I went to a tiny college in downtown Minneapolis, and so completely different situation. But that's where I always wanted to go. I was going to go to live there no matter what. But at the end of it was great. Graduating was great. High school was, you know, the end of it was great. I was a big golfer. I almost made the state tournament. I won a section tournament. It was really fun and cool to have that, you know, something that I can look back at and say, because golf is so important to me. I got to work for my mom, so she wasn't hounding me to get a job because she was my boss and she paid me well. And I had a great job working at our store. We rented videos. We had pizza. I mean, it was the perfect job. And so I just really relished.
Videos, all right.
I relished that summer, hanging out with you guys, working, making some money, playing golf, and just being carefree. But you kind of went, so Pete just melded right into Mankato and became this cool guy with all these friends. Gifford, you even had a little trouble, you said. You like had to kind of hang on to Mike. I went the other way. I did not do well. I could not let go of home. Thank God I had a great roommate that year. My roommate was cool and we hung out all the time. But like I did not meet people on my floor. We did not hang out. I was totally awkward and uncomfortable, which is not a surprise to most people.
No.
But one of the best parts though about I was always trying to drive home, which is a 3-hour drive. But, you know, we're going to talk about music tonight and more this month. And I mean, just would have my pack of I would pick 15 CDs in my pack and I would just be able to listen to this music all the way back and forth. And it was awesome. And eventually college got great. It just took me a semester to get there because after that first semester, things got much better. In fact, I almost transferred to Morris to be with Pete.
That's right.
I mean, not Pete, with Gifford.
I remember that.
I had my roommate, and then I had met a girl who wasn't my girlfriend yet, but she was becoming part of kind of my group. And they all convinced me at the last minute to stay. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stay here. Because I didn't want to live in Morris. I wanted to live in Minneapolis.
No, you didn't want. No, definitely you did not want to live.
And then I would have transferred back anyway, just like you did. So it's like I got through the hump. It was great, but I got to listen to music. And what was so cool of that year, and the music is just amazing. So we grew up with basically one radio station, kind of two at times. And honestly, you look back, it played a lot of good music. Like we did hear a lot of good music, but it was a top 40 station. You know, that's what it was. And so when I went to college, there was a station called 93.7 The Edge. And then there was Revolution Radio, Rev 105. And those two stations changed my life because I got to hear all this cool music that was coming out in 1994, building off of what, we all had with Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all those bands. But, we were getting out of grunge and into like the awesome alternative stuff. And 93.7 was like, the mainstream one. They would play like the same 10 songs over and over, but I loved them. Like you didn't care. I wanted to hear them all the time. And then Rev 105 was a much more of a variety station, but it would play kind of some deeper cuts of those kind of bands. And it was awesome because it's what I needed, because that's what I cared about and that's what I loved. As if you've listened to the show, I'm not the top 40 guy like Pete, like Gifford, even though I like there's a lot I like. I want to find other stuff, and this was my chance to do that. So that was awesome.
Well, I was going to say, if you did transfer to Morris, you would have been able to listen to the student station on campus, KUMM, the only station to put "Come in Your Ear." I'm not kidding.
God.
That was the student station in Morris,
and they actually say that as a slogan.
Yeah, KUMM.
Wow. That's There's something about Mary too.
I remember that.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's University of Minnesota Morris, so I get it.
Yes.
But to have a slogan like that that's bold. That's something.
Very liberal, very, very liberal college.
Yes.
Yeah,
sure. And you're in a very small town out there, but
that's
true. When you're in college there, you got college radio, you still get your eyes open to other things than just living where we grew up and never, if that's all you saw.
Well, and their license was something about how you weren't allowed to play any top 40 from the last
I'm sure.
10
that's college
years
radio.
or something.
They don't play that. It's
a lot of new stuff that hasn't hit yet, and so you might have enjoyed it. I just love the slogan. So
yeah.
Awesome.
We will talk a lot music this month and later tonight, but I wanted to put you back to 1994 here with some things that happened. And you guys can comment if you have anything you remember. So, there's one big event that was like my life for a few weeks. Actually, it was America's life for about 2 years. What was that?
Yeah. That was O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. So the O.J. chase, I can still remember the night that he was kind of named as a person of interest. I'm like, well, come on. Okay, I get it. He was married to her, but like it was crazy. And then within a week, he's charged, and like it was just insane. And I was glued to my TV. And then you had the chase, which was like a 30-mile-an-hour, not a chase, but just a jaunt. And then a year later, I was in college class when they played the verdict. We listened on the radio, so that was not 94, but it went on for that long, and it was amazing. And I
remember where I was when that verdict came out. I was walking on campus, past the on-campus apartments to a buddy's, like one of the guys' places there, and like somebody yelled out the window to me.
That's 1995.
That's exactly.
Do you remember where you were the night of
too.
the chase?
I do.
I don't remember where I was the night of the chase.
I know where I wasn't with Pete, but you went to the movie Speed, didn't you?
Grebo was at my place, yes. One of our good friends who I would love to see again, but unfortunately, I don't think it'll happen. But we were together at my place. Well, yes, I'm getting there. Just let me talk. But it was just, we were going to go to the movie, and we did. But we were watching TV, and do you remember the cop with the mustache that he made the big announcement that there is now an active manhunt for O.J. Simpson? And Griebel just looked at me and then just started cackling like he always does. And then, yes, we went to the movie. We went to the movie Speed, and so we really didn't know about this chase or anything. We thought, okay, well, he's going to be missing here for a few days, probably went to Mexico or something, who knows. But then it was only after we got out of the movie that we were starting to hear about everything that was going on. We didn't see any of it live. But of course, that night when we got home and we saw the news footage and everything, but we missed out on watching it live, which I kind of regret. But we did get to see the movie Speed.
Yeah. So I was not with you because I was with my quasi-girlfriend. We weren't officially girlfriend-boyfriend, even though we should have been. But I was at her house, and I was helping her because she was getting ready for the Junior Miss pageant in a week, where the girl, the
town festival pageant.
Yeah. But geez, Miss America, but for the town. So she was out there getting ready for that, and we were painting these big animals because her talent was singing, and she sang the song "Talk to the Animals." But you had the Rockets and Knicks were playing in the NBA Finals, and the whole game got cut off basically because it turned into the OJ thing, and it was just amazing. And I'll never forget just sitting there in her living room watching that all night. It was so cool. I mean,
I think there's even footage of the players. It was amazing. They're playing it on the big screen. Sorry, I got you.
Had never seen
even footage
like
of the players.
And you
watching it on the big screen at the game. Yeah.
So if that wasn't wild enough, a few months before that, you had the Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan incident where she tried to take out her knees, and then they both made the Olympics, and you had the Lillehammer Olympics, which became one of the most watched things ever because Nancy Kerrigan actually skated. I think she got silver, right?
Yep.
And Oksana Bayul won.
I think so.
But Harding, of course, her lace broke and she cried. I mean, it was so pathetic. But, again,
That's
just the
karma.
craziest, best story that you couldn't believe. Right. And you still remember it today. It was crazy. Few other sports things. Florida State won the national championship on New Year's Day. So it was the previous year's season, but they beat Nebraska before Nebraska went on to win back-to-back championships. Cowboys won their second Super Bowl in a row, third loss in a row for the Bills, sadly. Arkansas beat Duke for the basketball national championship. The Rockets did go on to win the NBA title after they got back on the court there. And the biggest thing, though, there was no World Series for the first time ever, basically, because of the strike and the ridiculous owners and players. And baseball sucked basically ever since. It's just been going downhill ever since. And there was no World Series. Fortunately, Kurt Cobain died, and I can picture myself in the movie theater line in the Marshall Theater talking about it the night that happened. And then Friends premiered, which was, a huge show, of course, that we'll talk about in a minute here. So those are some of the big things that take us back to 1994. Anything you want to add to that, or are we good to go?
No, I mean, I'm good. We're going to get into, some stuff as we draft. So, I think you hit it pretty good there.
Okay. Well, we're going to draft TV first, followed by movies and music. And in the TV draft, it's me, followed by Giff, followed by Pete.
All right, let's hit it.
Pretty obvious first choice for me for about 3 years at this point. Every Wednesday or Thursday night, depending on which season, I was watching Seinfeld at 8 o'clock on NBC, and it was the greatest show ever. And you brought up Josh Griebel, our friend Pete. He's the one that introduced me to it way back in the second season when it was still a new show. And he's like, there's this show called Seinfeld. You got to go check it out. And I did, and I never missed an episode after that. And that's obviously number one pick right there.
That's a good number one pick.
The reason I got introduced to that show is because I used to watch, this is not my pick, right? I'm just commentating here.
Yep.
It reminded me of the Gary Shandling show, which I loved on HBO, and I thought it was kind of similar the first time I saw it. So it's like, okay, it's a different guy, but it's a little bit of a similar kind of concept. And so I remember thinking that and falling in love with it ever since.
Well, and for me, as I always said, I didn't get cable growing up. ABC and CBS were the only stations I got. So fall of 94, when I moved to Morris, we didn't have TV in our rooms, but as a floor, we bought a TV altogether, put it out in the common space, and we got cable. And
so you can pick NBC tonight.
Yes. And I not only got cable, but I got NBC. So Seinfeld for me was... Yeah, right. Seinfeld for me was enormous, not only because it was new every week, but then I was catching up on the syndication. I think there was a couple.
By that time, it was probably playing.
Right. So, I mean, I was watching at least one episode a day trying to get caught up on all this stuff. So Seinfeld, definitely a great pick, Brad. If I had the number one pick here, it would have been mine as well.
Well, what is your number two pick?
My number one pick for me is I'm going to go Friends because I think I said when we covered this way back in early episodes, I think the first Thursday of me being at college was the first episode of Friends.
You did say that.
Yeah, and this was such a huge show for me. It carried through those 10 years from 18 to 28, or 27, I guess, when it actually ended. So I love this show to no end, so I'm taking that as my number one pick.
And so we should mention that one of our first episodes ever was on Friends, and we also have a 2-part Seinfeld episode from a couple years after that. So they're both out there for a ton more detail. Pete.
Did we had Jennifer Aniston as a guest, did we not?
Yes. Yeah, go find that one.
And both
listen to all our episodes until you find it.
It's one of or is that one of the lost episodes that we just decided not to go forward with it? Okay.
Nope, they don't know that.
Well, I think you're probably going to be able to predict what I have because I would argue it's our most quoted of all the shows probably in history, and it's actually still airing. The Simpsons, and this was a time in '94 when it was still in its prime. We would watch and still enjoy every episode. It was also in syndication, so you could watch it 5 days a week. I remember doing that as well. Again, many times watching with you guys and Griebel and Haken, and it was just hilarious. It was can't miss.
And again, we have that. We did a Simpsons movie episode, but then we drafted our favorite Simpsons episodes, which was a great draft to go back and talk about the show.
Well, and what I said about Seinfeld, I'm just going to say it again for this show because I'd never seen it before, but I'm watching syndication. I'm watching it every Sunday as the new ones come out. Absolutely great pick. And these are the first 3 shows that I wrote down. So I love that they all got
Gifford,
picked.
You should go
in order. They're my.
You should go. You should go binge watch every Simpsons episode from start to finish, Gifford.
Yeah, there's quite a few seasons that I have not watched. Since
what are they? Are they on about season 34 right now?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Brad.
Well, for my number 2, I'm going off of the regular shows, and I'm picking the OJ chase and the subsequent OJ news that I could not stop watching and get enough of. So that is my pick. You know who this is? It's AC, goddammit.
It's AC, goddammit. Awesome. All right, for my number 2, I'm going to take a show that I watched 2 hours of every day of the week in college, and that is SportsCenter. They would replay the same hour every day, every weekday from 6 to noon. So I'd come back from my first class and watch the 2 hours of SportsCenter. Back when it was awesome, when you had Stuart Scott. And
back when ESPN was actually a decent watchable station, which there's nothing good on it anymore. If there's not a decent live event, there's literally nothing worth watching on ESPN. It is a shell. It is horrible. I hate that station.
Oberman,
Keith Olbermann, Dan Patrick.
Yep.
And
you remember Kilborn. You remember all those guys.
Kilborn. God, they were the best. Hey,
but you actually got highlights. Yep. And part of it, I suppose, is because now you can just scroll and find highlights yourself. But still, they could still have SportsCenter. It's just
right. I didn't mind the fact that it would play the same half hour, and it would just repeat it every single morning.
Yeah,
I would have it on for 2 hours.
You'd watch
I would too.
I would watch it. I would have it on, and you'd just forget that it was a repeat, and it was like, all right, I want to see that highlight again anyway. So
now all it is yelling talking heads.
Right. If you're scoring at home, or even if you're alone, that was one of the greatest lines ever.
Who are just there to share their opinions, much like us 3.
Yeah.
I guess we're as bad as ESPN.
They're so shouty on ESPN.
I see the irony. I see it. Pete, you're up.
I am up, huh? Well, I am going to go with another one that we actually did have a guest directly related to that show.
I know what it is
on this one. Married with Children, who we had.
that's not what I thought. I thought you were picking something else because we've had 2 guests on shows that could get drafted tonight.
I'm going with Married with Children.
I forgot about that.
So that's an episode that you can go with. And again, it was about in its prime. I think it was probably a little past its prime at this point.
Was it last season?
It was definitely past.
It might have been its last season, but yeah. But still, it was good. And another one, this was on late at night. I would watch in syndication quite often. And very oft quoted. One of our good friends that we mentioned earlier on the show, Mike, who was a close friend of ours, he would quote it heavily, and we would banter back and forth about that show.
Yep.
And it was fun.
All right. Well, I am going to take for number 3 the Lillehammer Olympics, including the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan stuff, because you couldn't miss that either.
Right.
So when I look at their available shows, this was more memorable.
Excellent. I am going to go with SNL. So we had Farley and Sandler and Hartman and Spade and McDonald on at this time. So if I was not out and about on a Saturday night, I was in the common room watching SNL.
All right. What should I pick as my next one? 94. I remember this is the first year I heard about this show. It definitely was on. And sometimes it kind of has come on and off, and occasionally a clip will come across my social media feed, and every time I just can't stop laughing. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There you go.
This, pretty sure I heard about it like around college, or maybe Brad, we were starting to watch it before we went, but.
Oh, I think it was probably more college, but a Minnesota show there, born and raised.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent pick.
It's basically, is it the same guys as Riff Tracks, who we have seen in...
well, I don't know if it's the same guys, but it's definitely similar. I think it might be some crossover.
Concept. I thought it was the same. Yeah.
I thought it was the same. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it is.
Okay. All right.
Brad and I went to see them do... It wasn't them on stage in front of our stage, but it was a live showing in a movie theater of The Room. And I've never laughed so hard in my entire life.
On my 40th birthday. It was a memorable night. Yes. And you're right. I was in pain laughing so hard. It was fantastic. The pick I'm going to make wasn't quite that funny, but it was a show that I had to watch because I loved the pre-series so much, even though it's, again, a terrible show, really. But this is the spring of 94 in high school when Saved by the Bell, the college years came out. And as an ardent watcher of Saved by the Bell, I had to check it out. And, it was no worse than Saved by the Bell. It was decent. It didn't last long, and it got ripped, and it was, stupid. But I enjoyed watching it while it was on. And that's my next pick.
Excellent. Well, I remember sitting up with everybody else in our common space there and watching Animaniacs, specifically Pinky and the Brain. Always loved the Pinky and the Brain segment on Animaniacs.
There's a surprise pick.
Yeah.
I think that we might break a record or be making history with this episode of Pop Culture Yearbook. To my recollection, I cannot recall the same performance being picked in 2 drafts, but I think that we have one tonight because I'm going with the TV show MTV Unplugged, and we may hear about that one again later. That's all I'm going to say.
Excellent. That's a good pick.
There's obviously one in particular that stands out, but there were many, many good performances on that show that you always look forward to.
Okay.
Yep. It's a good pick.
Well, I'm going to pick one that I thought Pete was going to mention earlier. I wasn't able to do it. It's like the only episode I've ever missed. But you guys interviewed actually a famous actor from Days of Our Lives. And I think it's a pretty common experience that when people are in college in the 90s, they watch Days of Our Lives. And they would often even plan their schedule around it. And I watched it, and I grew up watching it with my parents too, like not really watching it, but like it was always on. And, eventually I got into it, and you'd watch it and girls would watch it, and it'd be like a cool thing to do. So you guys had Tony DeMera, Teo Panglis on our show, actually interviewed, talked about that plus other things. And so when Pete brought that up at first, that's the first thing I thought of. But see, we've had some great guests on this show. We had him, and we had this writer of the book about Married with Children, and there's others out there too.
Yeah. You have a great guest on the show right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Yeah, you're right, Brad, because I did mention this on that episode, but it's worth mentioning again. My college friends and we kind of had like a rule because we would, as guys, watch the show, keep each other updated on what's going on, because it was a good in with the college girls. Because if you knew it was a conversation starter, it was an icebreaker. You always know what's happening on Days of Our Lives because everybody was watching it. Especially, by the way, that was the year of the Marlena being possessed, the exorcist being possessed by the devil. And that was as stupid and ridiculous as it was.
One of the greatest
you
things
were glued
ever
to
on
your
TV.
Absolutely.
So amazing.
You would laugh so hard. And then I think it was shortly after they had Susan. Do you remember Susan?
Oh, yeah.
It was when she came like undercover as Kristen. And it was so ridiculous. And it was like as funny as any comedy out there. And again, we would laugh hysterically at it, but we watched and we knew what was going on.
That's right. Gifford, last pick.
All right. So afternoons in the dorm, we would sit. We had a table. We'd sit and play cards and hang out, and the girls would be in there. And MTV would be on, and they would always have. I couldn't find the show, but they had like a countdown for the day. It wasn't TRL. That wasn't out yet.
No.
But I remember like Boys to Men was like the number one for like weeks and weeks on end. And
so would play just write down top, MTV then, or what?
The MTV afternoon videos. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like clockwork. Like that was when we first saw Green Day Basket Case, and that video, you would turn it on,
Black Hole Sun,
like exactly the same.
Black Hole Sun
and live lightning crashes.
Yep. Well, we'll get to those in a minute, but you're right. Those videos you did not want to miss them. A Weezer was another one.
And every weekday in the afternoon, like 4:00 or so, you'd have to be out because they'd have the big one of the day or the top ones of the day. So, I remember watching those quite a bit, but I remember the Boys to Men nonstop.
All right, Pete, last pick of the TV draft.
God, so many ones that I can pick. But I am going to pick this one because we were just talking about it over text.
Nice.
I'm going to take another MTV one. I'm going with Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Yep. That was almost my pick over the videos, but I remember the videos so distinctively in the afternoons.
But I'm not going to say it on air, but we talked offline why I had to pick it. So
yes, absolutely. You got any others, Pete?
Just for honorable mention, I have Frasier, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Wings, Coach. Here's one that I think Brad will remember. Not many people know this one though. Herman's Head.
I almost picked it. That was high on my list. I love that show.
Late Show with David Letterman. This was his first full year on CBS. He started in August of '93, but his first full year was then. Dream On was still on HBO. Brian Benben. That was a good show.
Remember that?
Not a lot of people probably know it. Another HBO one, Tales from the Crypt. And a Showtime one, a little sultry, Red Shoe Diaries.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Hello. Hello. Excellent.
All right. I had another sport one on here. So I mentioned earlier the national championship of football. The Florida State-Nebraska game was one of the greatest college football games I remember that game so well. It came down, and I was rooting for Nebraska that night, and they had a field goal to win it, and the guy missed it by like 100 yards. It was a terrible kick.
Did he kick the wrong direction?
It was so exciting.
He made it. It was just in a wrong. He Jim Marshalled the field goal.
Because I didn't like Florida State because, this is the 93 season, and Florida State and Notre Dame played like the game of the century. And I wanted Florida State to win that because, I hate Notre Dame. And they did. And then, they lost. And then Notre Dame lost the next week to Boston College. Great. Now they lost. But it's like Florida State then got back to number one, which is like, well, you didn't really earn that. So Nebraska was the only undefeated team. So I'm like, they should win. And then, they didn't. But it was a great, great game.
Yep.
You mentioned a lot of mine here, Pete. I have In Living Color. I'll throw in there. 90210. One show that I know I watched a lot, like on Sunday nights in my bedroom, in the spring, we were still in, before going to bed for school and stuff, was Lois and Clark started, and I watched a lot of those.
Yeah, I saw that. I just couldn't put it.
And then that's it. There's a couple others, but those are the ones I really watched.
Okay. I have Ren and Stimpy, X-Files. This was the first season of NFL on Fox.
Yes, it was.
The pregame show.
The day I moved into my dorm at Augsburg, the Vikings played the Packers, and Warren Moon was playing his first game for the Vikings on Fox. It was like all this new stuff. And then, of course, we lost and played a terrible game. But I can totally remember moving in and getting that game on the rabbit ears. You could barely see it because we had no cable. But yes, Fox and Warren Moon.
And the other thing I remember was I watched a lot of NBA when we were, in college. So like a lot of Eastern Conference stuff with the Knicks, and Shaq was huge,
but no Michael Jordan.
No Michael. Yep. And so I just remember watching a lot of NBA that my freshman year of 94. So
all right, well, let's move on to movies. And we have Gifford leading the way with this one, followed by Pete.
So many good ones.
Oh my God. This has got to be one of the best years quality-wise for movies.
Well, I think to me, it's top heavy. Like it's some of the
greatest. I was just going to say top heavy.
As far as depth with some years, I didn't find it to be as good, but I mean, the top 5 to 10 are these are all timers, which most people know that the 94, class of movies is incredible. But what are you going to pick number one, Giff? You're going to go with
all these amazing, critically acclaimed movies. It's just unbelievable. But Giff's going with his heart. I'm going with the funniest movie, minute for minute, in my opinion. That is Dumb and Dumber. Can't get away from it. We did a second chance month one year, and I went back to this year, 94, and picked Dumb and Dumber. I have to. I love it way too much.
You know what? And it's a great pick, regardless of bad pick. Quality with the others. What movie do you watch more than that? And it's awesome.
Right. On this list, that's the one.
Pete,
I think it's fair to say that with some of these, especially the comedies, you judge quality by how quotable it is. And Dumb and Dumber, I said earlier with The Simpsons, it's as quotable as anything. And
there's another one on here too. Then
such a good movie.
Well, and there's so many great movies. You probably didn't even see it coming. What I was going to pick.
I am going to pick one that's actually quotable, not a comedy, but certainly a great film. I'm going with Pulp Fiction.
Excellent.
Great movie, great soundtrack that I listen to a lot.
And a tasty burger.
And a tasty burger, that's right.
And we did that one with our supporter Brian Rappy a couple years ago.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, I could kind of do what Gifford did and pick the movie that I probably watched the most in 94, but it's definitely not the best movie. So instead, I'm going to go with The Shawshank Redemption because
it's so fucking good.
I mean, come on.
That's
I don't know if I'd say it's the best movie ever, but if you could definitely make the argument it's one of them. And when you got to the end and you saw that hole and you saw the first time you saw that, it was just mind-blowing and so great. And you can just rewatch it, too. It's just lovely, lovely movie. And the warden is, you don't think of him maybe right away. he's one of the most despicable, worst
Mhm.
characters in the history. I hate that guy. And when he gets it, it's just, you feel so good. God, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. That's probably the movie I've watched the most besides Dumb and Dumber off of this list. You can, like you say, if you're watching TV and it comes on, you're going to watch it till the end, wherever you start. It's just, this is one of those movies that I've rarely seen the beginning of. Like when he's sitting in his car in the beginning, drinking and got the gun, it's like, I've rarely seen that. I've seen, 2/3 of it a million times. Great pick, great movie. All right, I am going to go with, I'm going to take Forrest Gump. I love it. I bought it on, I still have it on VHS, even though I can't play it on anything. But it's just great. I love that
And
movie.
I if I go back to 94, I saw that one in the movie theater 3 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that.
Were you with us when we saw that? I don't know if I was with you.
I know I
was
went
with Grievel for sure.
I remember
and
the third
Haken,
time I saw
think.
it, I was home for a weekend and went with just me and Haken because he was home, so you weren't there.
Mhm.
I don't remember the other
Oh.
two. I just know I saw it 3 times. That's all I
Yep.
remember.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I should go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pick another very quotable movie, one that we've quoted many times. Probably not in the same era of quality as Shawshank Redemption, but I am going to go with Clerks.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Which
my
was
top
also one of
five
the
are
first
off the board.
one of the first episodes we ever did was on Clerks as well.
Mhm.
In a row?
Don't be
God,
sucking
so
any
many
dicks
good
on your way
quotes.
across the parking lot. Get back here.
Hey, get back here.
I don't appreciate your ruse, ma'am. You're cunning attempt to tick me.
Ooh, Navy SEALs.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Gifford, let's move on.
Well, it's your pick, sir.
Oh, I wrote it in the wrong spot. Okay,
Oh.
sorry.
That's all right.
I screwed up. I gave myself Clerks. I got to give it to Pete.
Yep.
Oh, my
Can't do
God.
that.
Way to take credit for my work.
Yes.
All right. Well, then I will pick. See, now it gets to the point where the really good
Yeah.
movies are gone. Like, there's
Yep.
good movies left, but the really, really good ones are gone. So I am going to take a movie that kind of maybe created a genre almost. I don't know, but it kind of made a big star again out of a guy that was already well known, but it made a big star out of a woman. And we mentioned it tonight. I'll just pick Speed next.
You
It
mean
took
Die Hard on
Keanu
a
to
bus?
another like action hero realm, and
Yep.
and of course Sandra Bullock, Pete's favorite.
So glad it made her into a star.
But see, in
Oh,
this
my.
movie, she was so cute. Like, you
I
liked her
know.
in this movie.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just throwing that out there because you all know my feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't figure out what to pick, so that's a good one.
That's a great pick. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, I know.
I'm gonna take a movie that I drafted just a few weeks ago when we were doing our last month when we were picking Arnold movies. I'm going with True Lies.
That's going to be my next pick. True Lies. That's a great movie,
So
but
much
it's
fun.
hard to find anywhere. Like, we tried to watch it and you cannot find it.
Really?
We weren't able to. Maybe it's on now or something, but it wasn't on any decent streaming service that we could find.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Because
Oh,
it's on.
it says it's on. Oh, it's Hulu with add-ons. Shoot. Yeah, that stinks.
Brad, have you ever even seen that? I thought you said you hadn't seen it.
No, I went to the movie theater with you or whoever. I just don't like it like you guys.
Okay.
I kind of got drugged to it because it wasn't my kind of movie, and I'm sure I had a bad attitude and never gave it a chance.
What, you? Bad attitude?
No, stop. What?
See, I can be honest.
Can't imagine, Brad.
All right, Pete, what do you got?
Oh, boy. Here's a good one. Reality Bites.
Yes, that is a
Yes.
good one.
And that one I went to with the girl I mentioned earlier on a little date, and it was a nice day.
Excellent. Did she bite?
Unfortunately, no.
Hard. All right, well, I'm going with this one now. This is just as quotable, at least back then. I don't think we probably quoted a movie more in 1994 because it came out early in 94.
Mhm.
I'm picking Ace Ventura.
Awesome.
it doesn't age as well as Dumb and Dumber. It's not as good as Dumb and Dumber, but it's still funny. And the lines.
And it was a groundbreaking movie for
and
Jim Carrey.
and
It
that's
was.
why we know. I mean, there was In Living Color, so I knew who he was. But like this was like, okay, this is Jim Carrey, and so yeah,
It was great. Yes, Satan. All right. Okay, so this guy did not age well, but I love this movie. Mel Gibson in Maverick. I think it's a very fun movie. I loved it at the time. I would probably still rewatch it now. I think it's good.
So here's the thing about that movie is that I loved it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I was like all excited. We tried to watch it as a family about a year ago, and it was just not good. It just didn't.
It's not a
didn't
good
carry
movie,
over
Pete.
well. I don't know. I just thought it. I remember thinking it was fun.
Well, yeah,
it
you'd
was
think it
so
was fun.
in the theater.
because like
Yeah.
I went to it with one of you too, and I remember enjoying it in the movie theater,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it since. So
It's not a good movie,
But
but
it just wasn't that good.
in '94, I really, really liked that movie. Yeah.
Pete,
And I saw it when I was preparing for this, and I was like, I can't even put it on my list because
I wrote it down.
because we just
Yeah.
stopped watching.
There's better movies on my list,
A-
but that was always a fun one. So what do you got,
A
Pete,
movie
for-
that a movie I remember really enjoying at the time, and I watched it a number of times. I haven't really watched it much since like around that era,
Mhm.
but it really was a good movie. Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Mhm.
that was a big one.
Yep.
And again, kind of set a whole genre with Notting Hill and Love Actually and things to come after.
It was the first I can remember seeing or hearing about Hugh Grant, and I just thought he was awesome and hilarious in that movie.
All right, I will pick. All right, so I'm going to pick another movie that I went to with this same girl that I wasn't boyfriend girlfriend with, but we were clearly dating. We went to prom, did everything.
Spent a
else.
lot of money on this chick.
Yeah, I know. So we went and saw kind of last minute one night with a couple other people. I remember who we were sitting on my front porch, and it was summer, and it was this nice, night, and it's like we got time. We get to go do something. We went to the movie 8 Seconds with Luke Perry.
Yes. Excellent soundtrack.
Oh,
I haven't seen since, but you know what? I have a nice memory of it because of that. So
Is that about how long you
I
lasted
went
that
to
night,
that
or what?
movie. That's a good one. I never even saw when I was looking at this, and that was. I remember that being a good movie.
Yeah,
I think it was
I
better than
went
you
to it.
probably would have thought, But,
Yeah.
And I liked 90210, so I
Yeah.
liked Luke Perry.
Well, and based on a true story,
yeah.
so I mean that was
All right, Giff.
And I had heard of the guy because of the dance video. That's how I'd heard of Lane Frost.
Mhm.
The
Yep.
Garth Brooks video.
All right, so again, a lot of good. I got a few really good movies on my list still. One nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture, but I'm not going to take it because I was heading off to college this year, and there was a little college flick by the name of PCU that I just loved. I mean, we got Jeremy
I remember
Piven,
that one.
we got Jon Favreau, we got Chris Young, who everybody knows as Buck from Great Outdoors. David Spade had a role in it as well. I don't know. It was a fun movie at a time when you're new to college, so it was excellent.
Pete.
Well, I'm going to take a very good movie. It's a Disney movie,
Mhm.
but everybody loves it. I still love watching it. And there's, of course, a newer version of it, but I'm going to go with Lion King.
That's another
call.
one I went to the movies with this girl.
Sounds like you did. She owes you.
Sounds
Brad.
like your
Yeah.
girlfriend, doesn't it? We went to
That
prom.
sure
We went
does.
to about 100 movies. We did all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, but just not the stuff that makes you boyfriend girlfriend, evidently.
I think what you need to do is
Not
tally
true.
up how much you spent on her and
Yeah.
calculate interest after 30 years,
Mhm.
32 years. Send her a bill.
All right. This is
Right.
tough to figure out my last one here. So I'm going to go with what was actually a really, really good movie. And when it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, people like revolted because it was a documentary. And then it didn't even win Best Documentary. I don't even know if it got nominated for it because there was a whole big controversy. Like, this movie was supposed to be so amazing. And how could you do that? And that movie was Hoop Dreams, which was a really cool story, years in the making. And the old Academy, they really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I do. Not too many that really matter. But opposite side of that, Blue Chips with Shaq and Nick Nolte. I could have taken Naked Gun 33 and a Third because we love those movies, but of course that's the least, memorable one. In college, I went to Natural Born Killers with a different girl.
So good.
The movie Disclosure was a really big deal. I remember that. Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. The movie IQ with Meg Ryan and Tim Robbins about Albert Einstein I liked. And then I'm going to name a movie here, Pete, and I want you to say the quote. This is a test. You're on tonight. You need to get this right. Boy. We said this. We still say it. My Father, the Hero. Starring Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah. I'm dying now?
That's the quote.
That's the quote, yes.
Yes, I got it.
Gifford, you knew that too?
I had to think about it for a second.
I didn't know if you knew
we said that every single day in trigonometry class, multiple times.
So Gerard Depardieu, who we all thought was kind of this joke guy, had
Gerard Depardieu?
Yeah, this young daughter. And she was like, I don't remember the whole story. I don't even think I ever watched the movie. It was Katherine Heigl. It was actually Katherine Heigl.
It was like her first role.
It was?
But she was like trying to set her dad up and like, I don't know why, but like she told her boyfriend or whatever, a story that he was dead. I'm dying now? It just looks so bad.
Yeah.
And that quote has stood the test of time 30 years later.
Pete, you got any others?
I do. I've got, I think, 4 that have not been said yet. The Crow. With Brandon Lee, the late Brandon Lee. I have Clear and Present Danger. I have do you remember the movie Threesome?
Yes, I almost wrote that down because I remember that was a big deal to watch that movie. And
it was a big deal, and we watched it several times in the dorms in college that year. And it was a good movie.
I think Bridget Fonda, was she the girl in that?
Baldwin.
One of the Baldwins. Billy Baldwin, I think.
Steven.
Or was it Steven?
I thought it was Steven.
It might have been Steven, yeah.
I want to say it's Steven. And the last one I had to put on because it's the Minnesota Twins. I went Little Big League.
Ah, yes.
Wait, is that the one?
Yeah, Little Big League. Okay. I saw it on there. I actually watched a little bit of it the other night. I've never watched that movie like all the way through, but it was on TV, and I actually watched a little bit of it. But I've not seen it all the way through. Which is crazy, because why wouldn't we watch a movie about the Twins?
No, I watched it.
Right.
But what was the other one where the kid had the arm, like the rubber arm, and he could throw 100 miles an hour?
I don't remember the name.
It was about the Cubs. What was that called?
Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. That's right. That's what it was. Little Big League. Somebody
he becomes
takes
the
over
owner
ownership.
and the manager.
It's a 12-year-old kid becomes the owner and manager. That's
Yep.
Gifford, did we miss anything?
My Father, the Hero, Katherine Heigl's third role. So I had. Did anybody mention Above the Rim? Sorry, I was looking that up.
No.
No, we had Hoop Dreams, but not Above the Rim.
How about The Mask? Jim Carrey's third movie that year.
Yeah, I never really watched that movie, so I didn't.
I don't know if I've seen it either.
I haven't.
As big as it was.
Yeah.
And I like Jim Carrey, but I just never got into this.
It was the least of the three for sure between Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber, but I mean, it had Cameron Diaz, I think, in one of her first roles.
I think it was her first movie.
I think it was her first.
And she looked incredible in that movie. And
she made an impression on 18-year-old Giff for sure.
She sure did, Brad.
And then the last two I got here is Wolf. David
we went
Spade.
to that in the movie theater too. Yep. Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Who looked awfully nice. And the last one, I don't know if anybody mentioned, Quiz Show was up for the Oscar. I actually just rewatched that not that long ago.
For Robert Redford,
Yeah. Just excellent.
All right. Okay. One more. We got music. And so for our music draft, you can kind of pick whatever you want usually, but we're going to stick to albums is supposed to be the rule tonight for the most part. because we're going to probably have an episode where we talk a lot of singles and music from the year coming up.
Yes.
So, and there's so many albums to pick from, and we were all buying CDs. Like, this was what we did back then. So this should not be a problem.
BMG, baby.
All right. So, Pete, you chose to go first in this one. So what is your number one pick?
There's really two here that I could pick, and these two, I would say could contend. I'm only going to say one of them, which would be my pick, but I would say these two albums could contend for greatest albums of all time. But because it hit me so personally, I am going with the MTV Unplugged in New York Nirvana album. What's the other one is going to be the question.
Well, that's
I'm
the
kind
one
of
that
wondering
Brad's
because
probably going to pick.
I thought you were talking about two other ones, and so I'm not totally sure.
Wow.
But anyway, MTV Unplugged Nirvana, yes, and that was after that 1982 episode that B and Pete did. That was the first episode we ever did on this show as the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to find. Just go all the way back to the very beginning.
All the way back.
Just binge listen.
Yeah.
Just like I told Gifford to binge watch every Simpsons episode for 34 seasons.
All right. So I've got the next pick.
Listen.
And I mean, I could go 3+ different directions here. I'm trying to remember which one maybe had the biggest impact on me during that year. And I'm not sure. I don't remember. My top three are like equal. All three were like just so huge. And I'm going to go with Weezer, the Blue Album. Because it is a perfect album. Actually, that's why I'm picking it. The other two, they're great, but there might be a song here and there that I'm like, I can skip that, or, But the Blue Album, it is a perfect album and a perfect debut. And they've never.
My daughter loves that album,
and they've never topped it since. I like Weezer, but they've never topped it since. It was
sure.
And that's the episode that we did for me in 1994, way back then.
Right.
So I guess it fits.
Well, my number one, I think I can wait on. I don't know if you guys are going to pick it, so I'm going to dive a little further into something I think you guys, I might steal from you here. So I'm going to go with what I think Pete was in between on, and I'm going to go Dookie, Green Day.
Yep, that's correct.
Came out February 1st, and Grammy for Best Alternative Album and certified diamond with 20 million copies sold.
See, I thought Pete was talking about Green Day and Weezer when he brought up two albums.
Oh, no, I was on the MTV thing because that's what he picked. Yep.
Weezer was an oversight. It could be in that conversation, but I was thinking of Dookie.
See, I wasn't thinking of an unplugged album, but I get it now. Totally makes sense. Pete, what's your next pick?
Yeah. Another one where there's a choice between two of them, but I'm going to go with Stone Temple Pilots, Purple.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Very good.
Another one I would listen to nonstop.
Okay, well then I guess that means I get to take my number 3 overall, which was, and it's of the 15 albums by this band, my favorite band of all time. It probably slots in as my 13th or so favorite when I really rank them, but I still love it. And this when this was coming out, you were so excited. You couldn't wait to hear what it was going to sound like. And that's R.E.M's Monster. And it was so different from everything they'd ever done. And you saw the What's the Frequency Kenneth video, another one that you got to see on MTV all the time.
Yep.
And so it's still a huge, awesome album, even in their list. It's not that great to me, but it's still a great album. And in 1994, it was giant.
It's huge.
I had to buy it. I had to buy it right away.
I think because it's a good album for sure, but it's not in my favorite REM albums.
Right, and there's a couple songs I like, don't care, but there's so many songs I love on there, and I love that it's different. I love that it is a totally different thing. You want something different, put that one in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean this came out in September, like right when I was
after we went to college. Yep.
I mean this was because again we talk about transitions and like I'm heavy country, right? I'm in high school, love country, and actually my roommate that I moved in with, the second guy, he was a big country guy too, but this was one of those songs, particularly with What's the Frequency Kenneth, was that transition into college and kind of away from country.
That's right.
But that being said, my second pick is going to be back with the country folk here. Came out March 22nd, and this was the breakout of Tim McGraw with Not a Moment Too Soon. And this, of course, has Indian Outlaw, Don't Tell the Girl, Down on the Farm, Stay Out of That Hay. Not a Moment Too Soon, of course. Great album, so much fun.
All I remember on that one is when we first saw the Indian Outlaw video, because this is in high school still, and we watched CMT all the time, and we couldn't believe how dumb that song was. But yet we sang along and listened to it all the time.
Totally not
one
racist.
of those guilty pleasures.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to be fair, I didn't know her yet, but I would go on to marry Courtney, and my baby is a Chippewa. She's a one of a kind. So,
all right. God, there's a lot of good ones. I still
There's
have
so much good stuff.
Yeah, there are. It's a great year for music.
Holy cow!
There's a few country ones I even have, but I don't think I'm going to go that route yet. I am going to go with, because there's a couple that I like, some individual songs better maybe, but top to bottom, the next best album is Wildflowers, Tom Petty.
Yes, shoot, I would have taken that next probably.
Yep.
One of his best. And so awesome because it's so different from all the alternative and rock and all the stuff that's so huge. Then he comes out with this just awesome folky album like rootsy, and it's just great, and it still had a place for that too, and everybody loved it.
He stayed true to himself, which Tom Petty should always do.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with then. This is a band who has one of my top 100 songs when we did that episode a couple weeks ago. It came in at like number 12, I think. And it is the opening song in this album, and it is one of the greatest opening songs of all time. And this is a good pick because it's a good idea. That is Sugar. I totally screwed it up. That's the other album. That album came out 2 years before this.
I was going to say.
This is Sugar's second album, File Under Easy Listening, which is great. But you can scratch everything I just said about the song A Good Idea, because it's not on this one.
Okay.
I think you had a poster of this album, though, Brad, in our apartment.
Did I? Yeah. That sounds familiar. I don't know.
I think you did.
Probably had something that I got from my brother-in-law, Craig.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I might have to edit that out.
Well, yeah, you edit that out, but my next pick is definitely a sure shot, and it might sabotage some of your lists here. I'm going with Ill Communication by the Beastie Boys. See what I did there?
That'll be a popular one.
I did that. I got Smash, Offspring.
He's just going right for it.
So good.
I'm just going for it.
Good.
You got to keep.
I'm going to go for it, honey.
6 times platinum, by the way, that album.
All right, well, I'm going to pick one here, and it's going to shock you, and it's going to shock people that know me well and my opinions on this band, because I hate this band right now. I've hated them for a long time.
Are you really going to pick them?
But in the 90s, I loved this band as much as anybody. I actually loved them more than anybody I knew. And their debut, I listened to all the time. I loved it. And that's Oasis's Definitely Maybe. So I'm going back to 1994. And actually, if I was going to listen to Oasis right now, I mean, this is the one I'm listening to. I could put this album on probably. Mm-hmm. It's the stuff after that I got more sick of. But I have done nothing but talk trash about Oasis for a good 10 years. So I want to shock you, but I also want to show you how I can be open-minded.
Magnanimous.
And true to who I am, because it was really that good back then. And the song Live Forever, I still love that song. No matter what I say about them, I love that song.
All right. Well, Yeah, I gotta go with it. This was Diamond, sold 10 million copies. Came out the day after my 18th birthday. This is Cracked Rear View by Hootie and the Blowfish. I mean,
Oh, no.
we
Now
listen.
Brad is going to have some words with you.
We listen to
I
so
have the
many of
CD
those
too.
songs. Yeah, that's honestly who I thought you were picking. I was like, wait a second, he hates Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, no. Well, because I bought this CD
Hates Darius Rucker.
No, I don't. I bought the
Yeah,
CD
you do. You never shut up about how much Darius Rucker sucks.
That's actually not true. Anyway, I bought this album like everybody in the world, and I liked it for about 10 minutes, and then this is another one with the music. To me, it just doesn't age. They don't sound good anymore, and it was a product of its time. It was great at the time, but I don't know. To me, and that's my opinion, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but back then it's kind of like my CPU and Maverick pick. Like I was listening to that music in '94 for sure.
Right.
So I gotta pick it.
And it was the biggest album of the year, probably, or one of them. So it's definitely going to get drafted.
Mm-hmm. All right, Pete, last pick.
It's funny that you just happened to name the band that I'm going to pick next. It is a band that actually followed our show on Pop Culture Yearbook on Twitter. However, sadly, we lost its lead member within the last few months. I'm going with What a Crying Shame by the Mavericks.
Great pick.
That was next on my list as well. And I actually jumped over it for Oasis because back then, I don't know. Yeah, but that's a great pick because I love them.
Great.
There are better albums remaining. However, just as far as albums that I enjoyed and listening to, and it was more personal to us because nobody else seemed to know them. I'm going to give them some love here.
I just saw them in concert maybe about a year and a half ago.
I remember.
Yeah, they opened for Dwight Yoakam when he was in town. They were great. They were unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Yeah.
All right. For my last pick, I'm going to pick one that's actually, because it's an album, it's not even an artist, but we mentioned this movie earlier, and this soundtrack was in everybody's catalog, and it had so many great songs that I loved on it. I'm picking the Reality Bites soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny Kravitz and I can't even...
Tempted by the Fruit.
Squeeze was, you had some old ones like Squeeze on there. I'm missing some of the big ones. Anyway, there were so many. Oh, Juliana Hatfield. She was on there. Loved her.
Yes.
Yep. Spin the Bottle.
What song? Oh,
and I listened to that album so many times. So, perfect pick for me. All right, Gifford, last one.
All right, so I'm going with an album that was introduced to me by a guy across the hall in Indy Hall my freshman year. That Goody, giving him the shout out. That's Dave Matthews Band with Under the Table and Dreaming. Listen to that album. That was actually the number one thing that I wrote down. Exactly. But I knew you guys weren't going to pick it. But I got to go with my heart here. And again, there's better albums left. But this one was near and dear to my heart, 94.
Yeah, I didn't have it on my list, but now that you picked it, it makes total sense that you picked it. And you know what? I never owned it, but it was everywhere, and I liked a few of those songs. I didn't really care for much about Dave Matthews, but there were a couple on there that I liked.
Well, it's good to know what would you say about them, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I like Ants Marching.
There's a ton of stuff left here, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run through my list here, see if you can keep up with checking them off yours. Black Hawk's debut album, Black Hawk. Goodbye Says It All on there.
Let me check my notes. Nope.
Really? You didn't have Black Hawk on your list? So I went through the country albums first. So Extremes by Colin Ray. I know you said don't put any songs on your list, but this is definitely not alternative. Sammy Kershaw's Third Rate Romance.
Oh, now you're talking country to me.
Awesome,
Sammy Kershaw.
awesome song. Kicking it up, John Michael Montgomery with the Real I Swear version. No Doubt About It from Neil McCoy. Ordinary Man, Tracy Bird, which had Watermelon Crawl on it. Clint Black had Clint Black had One Emotion. One of my favorite songs, Baby Likes to Rock It by the Tractors, came out this year. Waiting on Sundown by Brooks and Dunn. Who I Am, Alan Jackson. And then one that was really
I had that one.
personal to me. I love this album, Every Little Word by Hal Ketchum. And then, I don't know, I should probably save some stuff for you here. But Brad mentioned biggest album of the year. I'm just going to throw Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC out there. This was multiple times diamond, sold 23 million copies. That's got Creep and Waterfalls on it. So that's all I'm going to throw out there. You guys have at it.
Let's see here.
All
So
right,
a lot
I'll
of
do
these
it.
are ones where it's more like there was one or two songs that were so giant. I didn't own all of them. But the Toadies, Rubberneck with Possum Kingdom. One that I can't believe we didn't draft, actually, Live Throwing Copper, which you did mention earlier. I owned that.
Yeah,
I love that.
To leave that one off.
I Alone is one of my favorites.
You introduced me to Live.
Hole, Live Through This. Say what you want about Hole and Courtney Love. That album freaking slaps.
That was on my list.
Soundgarden Super Unknown, which I think we're going to do this month.
Yep.
We've discussed it. Let's see. This is one just for me. There was an artist. She had a couple albums in the 90s. Her name was Heather Nova, and she had an album called Oyster, and I bought it when I worked at Best Buy, and I loved it. And she had a song called Walk This World, and she had a couple other good ones, too. Cake's debut, Motorcade of Generosity, which had Rock and Roll Lifestyle. You got Nine Inch Nails, A Downward Spiral.
Yes.
Talk about a song that you heard all the time. I owned the Morrissey album, Vauxhall and I, with The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get. Johnny Cash, American Recordings.
Yep,
Veruca Salt, American Thighs. And then this one came out in 93, so it doesn't count, but most of the hits were in 94, and that's Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club. Oh, and one more, Collective Souls, Hints and Allegations, Things Left Unsaid, came out in 90. Well, that's a 93 album again. But the song Shine came out in 94, so you think of it as 94.
Yep.
All right. You done?
Yeah, and that's just albums. We'll talk a lot about songs later.
I had a few. This one has definitely a great song on it, My Iron Lung by Radiohead. Hell Freezes Over by the Eagles.
Yep, that was a big comeback.
Quite a bit. And Vitology by Pearl Jam.
Yep.
And there's one, Brad, you quizzed me earlier. I'm going to give you the name of the album, and I want you to give me the name of the band, and I need to say it in your voice, and you're going to know exactly what I mean.
Okay.
When
I'm excited.
When I say it. Okay. The Principle of Evil Made Flesh.
Oh, it must be Cradle of Filth.
There it is. Yes.
So a long time ago, I believe they came up, but I used to work at Best Buy in the music department in college, and I had never heard of this band. But every year we do this, I see an album by this band. They had tons. But this dirty guy comes up to me when I'm working in Best Buy. Do you have Cradle of Filth? Just like Beavis.
I was going to say, it sounds like Beavis. Did you meet Beavis?
What are you talking about? And lo and behold, we had it.
That's awesome.
That's Best Buy for you.
All right.
So is that it?
I got a couple I'd like. I mean, just for Courtney, this is a song. Again, I know we're going to do songs, but Regulate by Warren G and Nate Dogg. C-Dog loves that song.
I was in the, by the way, hold on. I'm sure I've shown you the picture, but I have a picture of myself with Warren G. And Nate Dogg is not in the picture, but he was in the room at the time.
He wasn't dead yet.
It was a small meeting room, too. It was a month before he died. It was about a month before he died.
Wow.
And so it was kind of creepy. Snoop Dogg, by the way, was there, too, but not in the same room. He was in the next room.
Were there any other dogs?
But I saw him.
Were there any
no dogs?
Did somebody let the dogs out?
Eventually, they did just leave. Nobody mentioned "No Need to Argue" by the Cranberries with Zombie.
Yeah, that's another good one.
And
I had to cut my list off somewhere because, like Pearl Jam 2, I could have written these all down.
But what about 16 Stone by Bush? Nobody said 16 Stone.
I wasn't a big Bush fan, but yeah, that was enormous.
God, there's such a I mean, 5 bangers on that album. It went 6 times platinum. I figured somebody would bring it up. Since nobody did, I definitely wanted to at least mention those.
I think the point here is this is our second round doing 1994. This is one of our longer episodes in a while. There's a lot to cover still, so that's
Especially
why we're back
us.
here. And this is such an important year for us that, like you said, we could do this for a couple months, but we'll do 1 month for now.
Yeah. So,
and it was so fun to have Pete back.
Always.
For a special appearance.
This is a blast.
Yes, thank you for coming back on, Pete, and give us some time. Yeah, Pete, what do you got there?
Hey, Gifford, do you know what band has never taken a hiatus from Pop Culture Yearbook?
That is Preacher Row.
They show up for every episode, and it's crazy.
Every episode.
They did.
By the way,
this
is
Brady
live.
Bunch episode, though.
And there's one that I opened with my dad's singing, but
yep.
But they were always there, and they were always mentioned
there.
Always,
yeah.
Exactly. They're just standing there with their guitars and their drums and everything
on their own 2 feet. Yeah,
and they're like, yes.
All right, bye.
Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Bye. It's like riding a bike.